Hi everyone, welcome back to the Gorilla Tech Talk Show. On today's episode, I'm interviewing Jake.
Well, hey, it's great to be here. Thanks, everybody, for having me on the Gorilla Tag Talk Show. My name is Jake, and I am the Chief Marketing Officer and Head of Monkey Business for Another Axiom. That's my job title. Basically, what that means is I'm in charge of all of the marketing for the company, for Another Axiom, Gorilla Tag, and all of our games. And I'm in charge of this thing called Monkey Business, which is basically the group within the company that is in charge of and looks after all of the brand experiences for fans of Gorilla Tag that happen outside of the game. So merchandise, consumer products, entertainment, live events like GorillaCon, and all of our creator relations, and then how we're taking the IP of Gorilla Tag and swinging out of the headset into other interactive categories. That's me.
So the first question is, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you found out about Gorilla Tag.
Yeah, you probably want to know who is this guy. My name is Jake. I am actually the Chief Marketing Officer for Another Axiom. I'm also the head of Monkey Business. So I've been working at the company for almost 2 years now, and I basically am in charge of all of the marketing and the communications for the company. And I'm also in charge of what we call Monkey Business, which is really about the experience of all of our fans outside of the game. So things like all of our consumer products, those plushies and t-shirts and things that we sell, our live events like GorillaCon, which we can talk about, our entertainment business, which we're doing a lot of work in, and then a bunch of other stuff like creator relations. So that's what I do. That's my job. So basically, I found out about Gorilla Tag. So I had been working at movie studios for a long time. I worked at Fox and I worked at Sony Pictures, and I actually ran the virtual reality games business for Sony Pictures for about 8 years. And I've got twin boys. I'm a dad, and my kids were about 10 years old about 5 years ago when they first started playing Gorilla Tag. And they would play Gorilla Tag all the time, and I would ask them to play my games, my VR games that I was making, and they'd be like, okay, that's cool, that Ghostbusters game and that Jumanji thing, but they were like, but we really like this game called Gorilla Tag. And I just kept hearing about Gorilla Tag from my kids, and they were the ones who introduced me to the game. So that's why I got super excited about it, because my kids were really excited about it.
What exactly do you do at Another Axiom, and how long have you been working there?
Yeah, so I started it's been about 2 years now, and my job is really to think about how people who love Gorilla Tag engage with the brand outside of the game. So everything that goes on inside of the game is done by our amazing team of developers and artists and engineers. That's what they do, and they do a great job. Lemming leads that whole group, but we've got lots and lots of people who really think about the experience inside the game. My job is everything outside the game. So what's it like to be a Gorilla Tag fan and interact with the brand in other ways? That's really my job. And so I think about it in a couple ways. I think about how do we make sure that Gorilla Tag is going to be around for a long, long time. That's what I wake up every day thinking. What can we do today? Gorilla Tag's a 5-year-old game. That's a lot of years for VR. But it's not. It's definitely a game that we want to be around, and a brand that we want to be around for 10 years, for 15 years, and maybe even longer. And that's really my job, is to think about that.
What do you think makes the Gorilla Tag community different from other gaming communities?
What I think makes the Gorilla Tag community so unique and powerful is people like yourselves. People who have really embraced this brand and this game as a place for their identity to be created, for their own YouTube and TikTok channels to be built. The fact that you can come in here and create your own monkey, and you can be whoever you want to be and find friends and share this experience with friends, that is so powerful. And in today's world where media is so fragmented, everyone's on the internet, on different channels, different, subbing to different accounts, following different creators. Have one brand, one IP, intellectual property like Gorilla Tag, that brings all that together, creates a space where people can hang out together and share stories and experience, but then create something out of that, is really, I think, the stickiness for the Gorilla Tag community. That's what I think is super unique. And it's really the only brand in VR that has done that at this scale, which I think speaks to the power of what VR is, what we all love about VR. It's a place to exist. It's a place to be yourself. It's a place to create your own brand. And that, I think, is what's unique about Gorilla Tag in the community.
Do you enjoy interacting with the community? If so, what's one moment you've really enjoyed?
It's a great question. I love interacting with the community. I really do. I mean, even talking to you guys, it's really, really fun for me because I get a chance to really talk to our fans, talk to the people that are the most important folks in the entire ecosystem. That's really rare. I worked at movie studios where it'd be really hard to talk to, fans of our Spider-Man movies or our James Bond movies or our, Men in Black movies. It's really hard to do that in a meaningful way. But the fact that I can, at the end of the day, just put on a headset or anytime during the day, jump in, go into a random lobby, hang out in city, and just kind of ask questions and find out what people really think. That's like the most important focus group that as a marketer you could ever ask for. And I love doing that. So what I do is, most days at the end of the day, I'll just put on a headset, I'll jump in, and I usually just go to city. I tell folks, who I am, and I say, hey, does anybody want to talk to me a little bit about what they like about the game? What are they excited about the game? What are they looking forward to? Have they heard of this? If there was a Gorilla Tag TV show, what would you want it to be? Those kinds of questions. Those are the kinds of things I love to do, and I try to do it as often as I can.
Yeah. What advice would you give to the community in order to make it a more positive place?
I think the Gorilla Tag community is a very, very positive place in general. I really do. I think at scale, if you look at it, there are hundreds and thousands of players in our game every day. There's hundreds and thousands, millions of people in the Gorilla Tag community if you look at all of the different channels across the entire ecosystem. So you have to think about how huge that is. And by and large, it's an extremely positive place. I think that the thing that people have to always remember whenever they play Gorilla Tag or any game, any social game where you're interacting, is there are people who are in a different place than you, in their age, in their maturity, in their mind, and they have some expectation about what is fun, and you may have some different expectation. And I think what people always have to remember is just be positive, think good thoughts, be kind. If somebody's rubbing you the wrong way, you can always leave that server and go enter another lobby. Things happen in Discord. People say certain things. They say them, when I was a kid, it was all about on the playground at recess. Kids behaved a certain way, it would bum you out for the day. I think the reality is Gorilla Tag as a 5-year-old community is evolving, and it's going to continue to evolve and be around for a long time. And people just have to sort of be patient, be kind, and enjoy it. And if somebody's, being quote unquote toxic, then we try to just do everything we can to avoid them. But maybe they're having a bad day that day, and that's okay. You have to give them that kind of space.
What is GorillaCon for people who don't know?
Oh, great question. I'm so excited about GorillaCon. So I'm really glad you asked about GorillaCon. I got a lot to say about GorillaCon, and we're really, really looking forward to it. So GorillaCon is our first official real-world Gorilla Tag event. And it's happening end of June 25th, 26th, 27th in Anaheim as part of VidCon. GorillaCon will be a part of VidCon in Southern California. 3 days, it's a big festival, and the whole point of GorillaCon is it's a place for our community and our creators to celebrate being together and celebrate the game that they love. And our whole goal with GorillaCon is for everyone who comes to GorillaCon to find their troop, to find their people, to feel like they belong. We're going to have all kinds of fun activities and games and prizes and presentations and shows. We're going to be doing all kinds of exciting stuff. But the whole point of GorillaCon is for people to be there and share this connected love for Gorilla Tag and feel like they belong. That's what I want most from Gorilla.
That's gonna be it for this interview. Thank you so much for watching. Before we end the video though, here's the last 5 subscribers. and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.
Bye.